Hey folks, Matt T, and we have a video. Some of you have never seen me do a PTU, but since we have the Herbie Project, we have a PTU that has 152,000 plus miles on it, and you saw what I did for the oil test results. But let's review them real quick, and then we're going to open up this PTU and see what kind of damage it has that would cause this type of metal wear. First things first, remember, like, subscribe, join, all that good stuff. MACTFORDEDGE on Facebook, and also subscribe to this channel. Watch the videos, click on a few ads, help me boost up the numbers, and hey, hit that. Yeah, hit that. That'll help a lot. If you want to actually see the oil test results, just keep in mind I have another separate video on this, but it was almost 6,000 parts aluminum, and then we had some high copper in there along with some standard iron. So yeah, what really bothers me is the aluminum. Did the case hold up, and do we have wear on the inside of the case, making this PTU useless? That might be why they don't charge a core charge on these things anymore. Well, first things first, we're going to take this shaft housing off, and there's a 27mm on here. There we go. I worked on it a little bit beforehand just to make it go a little faster. But there's a seal back behind here, and we want to make sure we check that. And as you can see, that seal is not leaking at all. There is nothing wrong with that seal on this PTU. As with this seal, there is nothing wrong with this seal either. It was not leaking. Now these here are 10mm bolts, so we'll go ahead and zip these off. See if we can't get this off. I can tell you by doing this, I can smell it. Whoops! Can definitely smell this PTU. There we go. I can smell the gear lube. Oh, there we go. Let me get something here to hold that. Now we'll go ahead and pull this out. Holy cow. There we go. Let's take a look inside and see what we have, because it looks horrible. Now we can see inside all the races here, and right down there you got some gunk right down in there. The gear don't look too bad as far as wear, but we'll clean everything up. But let's see what this is right down here. Oh my gosh, check that out, folks. Check that out. Look at all that. Look at that. That is nothing but metal and sludge right down in there. And that race feels like it is. Wow. That'll cut your finger. It is that sharp. Let's carry on. We'll clean it and we'll check it out. But I'm going to say that that right there is definitely shot. And right up here, you can see, look at that. Look at that. Look at that garbage. That is the sludge that's inside that. Horrible. Now it's time to clean it out just a little bit. Look at that. That's some pretty horrible stuff in there. This is not coming off very easy. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this sludge. Check this out. That is cooked on there. It is literally cooked on there. The only way you're going to get this out of here is if you take and you scrape it out. That's the only way you're getting that out of there. Right there, folks. Alright, folks, I don't know if you can see that. See that? See that metal right there? 2 or 3 little hair-like strands stripped off of that race. That means that this PTU housing is toast. It has worn the aluminum part of it down with the bushing cover, and that's what this was resting on. Right in there. That gear is ate away at that. That gear right there ate away at it, the housing. So the housing is no longer within tolerances and it would fail. So this PTU is no good. Now I will say also, if you want to look at it close, that, yeah, right there it is. It is not in tolerances anymore. It ate it away. The metal right there. So you can't save this. This housing is gone because you cannot replace this part of it, and it is edged something fierce in here. You won't believe how badly it's edged. It is gouged right into it. Yeah, that is a heck of a lip. I wish I could show it to you guys, but how about this? What do you think? You think this PTU is any good anymore? Yep, it is toast. The housing is toast. That's why they do not have a core charge on these anymore. You cannot rebuild them. This main center gear here is where I got all the wear at. So the gear that rode in here ate this whole housing out, and that is part of the shell. We cannot save this. Okay, I found the Ford design flaw. You can see that this inner shaft right here fits right into here. Right like so. That's how it fits in there. Nice and tight like. Yeah, it fits right in there. But this fits over top of it. And this fits in here into this race. Like so. See where we're going with this? So what's happened is this here is hard steel. That's right. Nice hard steel. Nice smooth surface. Nice soft aluminum. Now let me get my screwdriver and show you what happens when hard steel starts spinning on soft aluminum. Now we have the gears here, and we have this metal right here that was peeling off of these gears. As you can see, there it is. It's all coming off of this right here. And it's got a lip all the way around on it. So, yeah, if you look at it, there's the metal. Melded. That's where you're getting your aluminum from. So, yeah, this gear on this metal right here wore down into that case, and it started moving back and forth. That's where you're getting your slop. That's where you're going to get your heat. That's where you're going to get your buildup. Had they put steel inserts in there, like they did down here and up here, it wouldn't have been a problem. But no, they didn't put any steel there. Right there where they need it the most, they did not put any steel at all. This race is here, and there's a race down there for all the gears to run on with bearings. But if you noticed, this has no bearing. Nothing. There's no bearing to it. Why wouldn't you put a bearing in there with a steel race? Don't know. But it's got bearings inside, so they can spin. But the problem is they get gummed up. Look at them. They get gummed up, start accumulating grease, and then they don't spin as easy. Then the next thing you know, you have this spinning in there, wearing it out. It don't take long, and it don't take much. You figure a few thousand RPMs a day, you know, a few rotations a day, starts wearing that metal case out. Eventually it gets worse, it gets looser. Pretty soon this starts spinning because this has more friction, therefore this starts spinning even more. So then you end up with problems there. So we got lots of garbage in here. This is also a big case for non-lifetime fluid, folks. 10,000 miles, keep these things changed out because they are pure garbage if you get them sludged up like this. There's no way. I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cans just to clean it up to this point. That's it. Just to clean it up to this point to get the sludge and the aluminum and steel and everything else out of this thing. So, yeah, this thing shot. There's no saving it. The metal, everything that we have in there is not going to help us. So, got metal pieces in here that are sitting in here. See this? Right there? Yeah, look at that. Got that right there? That is in your PTU, folks. That is what's causing your aluminum. Anyway, I could go on and on about this, but this is the failure point for most PTUs. I'm going to guarantee it. And if you don't take that out and look, you're going to notice if you rebuild seals, you do whatever, this is where you're going to fail. That's where you're going to end up problems. That heat, aluminum soft, hardened steel, folks. Not a good combination when they start spinning together. On the other side, we got the drain plug. If you want to see where the drain plug is in all this mess, it's right there. That's right. Doesn't touch anything. It's out of the way. and the plug ain't going through. So you just drill a hole, and then you put the plug in, and right there's the plug. No problem. See it? Nice little brass plug. Pretty simple. And I might do a video later, but if you want to do it for reference, that's where it's at. Right on the bottom of the PTU. Alright. This is why this PTU is no good. There's more of that in there. And like I said, it's toast. That's why there's not a core charge on these things, because the case is the problem. Not the gears, the case. One other problem that this PTU has is we look right here, and as you can see, that is where the breather tube is. That is also the breather. Now the problem is, let me do this. Do you see hardly any light, right? Just a small little hole right there. And look how sludged up that thing is. You can see how sludged that is. That is filling up, folks, with sludge all the way through there. Now that in itself, you'd think, is not a big problem, right? But imagine this is after I was spraying brake clean through it, so it was even worse. The other thing is, these things cannot really be changed that easy. That thing is barely in there. I literally pried it out because I couldn't get that little nut that's on there. See that little nut? I couldn't get at that. And look at the threads. There's hardly anything for threads on that. And I pried it out with a screwdriver, folks. A flat-bladed screwdriver. A small one. And it didn't take hardly anything to get it out. And I've been prying this thing open trying to get this cover off of here. And I will get the cover off because look at the end of this. Look at that. That is packed solid with sludge. Do you think that's actually breathing? So what happens is this thing doesn't activate and let the sludge out. What it then does is it attacks the seals. Yep. The seals that are on here become pressurized, and then they start leaking. Now you combine those seals with that spinning shaft in there with the aluminum particles and the pressure that isn't being released from here. Where does the gear lube go? The gear lube is forced from the heat to come out the seals if this breather or vent does not function. If it's all sludged up and blocked, then the seals are the weak link, and that's why you're going to start getting the seals spewing out and leaking and everything else. This one didn't do that. It never got hot enough apparently, but it did wear out everything. So let's go ahead and see just how clogged this is. I'm going to pry this apart here a little bit so I can pull it out, and we're going to look through it. But as you can see, sludge. And what does this mean, folks? This means 10,000 mile gear lube changes. If you start going and building up sludge in these things, you will have all sorts of issues, right down to the fact that this will sludge up. It'll cause seals to fail, and then once it builds up the sludge in here, the metal particles and everything else, this other seal right here would be also your weak link on that and cause a leakage on your PTU. So let's get this thing open and see just how much garbage is in it. Well, it took a little bit of a wrangling. I ended up having to cut that off. I couldn't get it pried out because it is built this way. This big end right here is actually inside this cap right here, and as you can see, that is pretty well blocked up right there too. I'm going to clean it out and see what we got here, but you can see that the heat sort of cleared it up just a little bit, and I'm going to spray it out here and we're going to see what is more involved in this, because yeah, that was pretty well clogged up. Now, I went and cleaned it up, and as you can see, there is something stuck in there at the end I don't know if it's rubber or metal or whatever the deal is, but I got this cleaned out, but you can't see through it. No light, no nothing. So we're going to go ahead and try to get that removed and see what that is. This looks pretty soft right here, so I'm going to try to pry it out. It's just rubber is what it's turning out to be. It's just a little rubber plug right there. It's upside down like this. And there's just a little bit of a baffle right here. Right there, there's just a little hole in it. Little slot. That's all it is. At the end of this, and it's put in right here like so. So it's just a little slot at the end. So that little slot can be plugged up with sludge, and that ain't going to let anything out. That's pretty tiny. And the hole itself is pretty tiny too, if you can see that. And look at this little piece right here. You can see that little lip. It's almost like two little lips there, and it just opens up like a little tiny mouth is all it is. Just like so. So not much to it. Just a nice straight hole going through. That's all it is, folks. But you can see where this gets plugged up with all that sludge, and then this little tiny baffle here. Yeah, once that plugs up full of sludge, there's no amount of pressure is going to push that out. Those seals will give, and they will come and leak out through the seals, and it won't go through this breather. Hey folks, Mac T, and yes, Herbie's case is DOA. That's right. Nothing left of it. I wouldn't put new gears in it to save my life because the case is bad and worn out. And more than likely, your case is in the same condition. Almost guarantee it. But anyway, this is MACTFORDEDGE. I hope you learned something about your PTU and why you need to maintain it and keep it clean. I feel that if they had changed every 10,000 miles, that wear would not have started. That's right. Those bearings would have been moving. We wouldn't have had a spin going on inside the gear, on the case, on the shaft, on the gear, everything else going bad. So, hey, if you're not changing your PTU gear lube every 10,000 miles, when you need a new PTO, you can only look at the mirror and say to yourself, it's your fault. But hey, the engineers didn't help. But anyway, this is Mac T. I hope you like, subscribe, join, all that good stuff. And go to my Facebook group, my MeWe group, MACTFORDEDGE. Also, my feet hit the floor today. I'm having a great day, and I want you to have a great day too. Band of One's always got some great music. And Mercy Girl, hey, she's somewhere around here. I don't know where she went. Well, I'll find her. She can only hide for so long.
Thank you for watching Mac T's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Girl production.